Okay. Hi everybody, I'm back. I'm alive. I'm just doing my best. Give me 1 second and we can get fully started. Hi guys. It's me. Decided to do a nice, simple dating sim to get started again, to get back in the saddle, to show up again. I'm glad you guys can join me if you want to, and if you're not, that's fine too. You may have noticed some changes, and that's true enough. I'm now a big space dragon thing, which is great. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the game, which is Our Life, Beginning and Always, which I'm only playing because I bought I backed the Kickstarter for the second one because I'm interested in that one too. So, let's get started, shall we? Tutorial time. Okay. Yep, this is the childhood friends to lovers trope. The dating sim, which I find infinitely adorable. I can't wait, because getting to make a new character is always fun. I'm only doing this if I play it again. I might not do the tutorial next time, but I've already bought some DLC for this, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do like that you get to decide between interactions, the changes you can make for your character. I do like the music too, it's very chill. I know that the second one is got 2 main leads as opposed to 1 for this one. Let's see. Yeah. I redid my whole streaming setup, so I hope it looks nice. Glad to have you in the audience, Eclectic. Oh, I like that they give you a tutorial later for if you want to do romantic stuff later. As a space ace. Yes, I am Subject 7. It is nice to have you here. I think this is a good dating sim for probably ace people because of all the little choices that it has you make for being in character. Which is why I'm looking forward to it. Okay, blue is casual or straightforward. Yellow choices are emotive, reactive, and green is uncertain, uncommitted. I do like that. This is a very long tutorial, but I appreciate that for all of the options that it's telling me about. None of them will lead to a bad ending. Alright, it's time to pick. Alright, let's see. I kind of like that one. I know this is step 1. So this is like sort of what you look like as a kid. This is a very cute art style. Yay, we're in anime world, so any color goes. Let's see, what colors of characters do I not have a whole lot of? I'll do orange for now. We'll go darker. I actually like the square shape. I don't know about the eyes now, but we'll figure this out. They're all about the two tones there. They come in a variety of colors. Okay, I liked one of the anime style ones, of course, is this one. Let's change this color to something that we can see. This will be fun to add to my Tomodachi Life Islands later. Also, feel free to let me know if I get too loud or the game is too loud or whatever else. I want to make sure that you guys are having a good experience too while I'm floating out here in space. I do like this art style. It's very cute. Ended up liking those. Do like the black, but it's hard to see in the back. So maybe I just leave it gray. Alright. Okay. So everything's going well so far. I appreciate that. My volume is great, and the background audio is a nice, subtle background music, which is what we want. I'm glad. I'm glad. So let's see, what shall we call them? I think I'm gonna call them Lane. And if I decide they're a girl later, Laney. If not, Lane stays the same. Alright. I would do Lane Woodrow. I think that sounds good. Can't see that one. Do kind of like that one. Do like that one. Those are up high in the face somewhere, the scars are. They're a little baby right now, so they can have chubby hands. I think right now you don't have glasses, but you might get glasses later, Lane. You're not showing us this. I don't think Lane cares. They're freckly everywhere but their face. And you can have an arm scar, why not? Alright. Alright. We're in the game now. Alright, so we're from it was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. Hell yeah, school's out. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. LGBTQIA friendly, hooray! That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. That's us. That's Lane. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. Oh, first choice. I feel like Lane's friendly. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. I think they're a friendly little kid. We're in a friendly little town, why not? You enjoyed learning all about where they were visiting from and hoped to visit those places one day too. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever, or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really, really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. I think that's true. And I'm going to say that one. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. Honestly, if I was a kid, yeah, that would be. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met and you took in a shaky breath, your eyes darting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. Random person. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but you still didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost and its black feathers ruffled against the sea breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started making his way towards you. Yeesh. Let's see. What to pick here? We're nervous, but we're also not like opposed to talking to people, so we'll be still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, offering a stranger a smile. A man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? He looked the man up and down, taking in his tanned skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. I'm not going to give my name. You didn't give me yours, so yeah, I live here. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Ooh, I heard a voice there. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad, sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son, his name is Cove, who's about your age. He's definitely obsessed with water. Your son is named Cove. Bro. He wasn't the only person like that in Sunset Bird. We've moved in across the street, see? He gestured across, towards the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching in the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Lane Woodrow, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... You're bribing me to spend time with your kid, dude? You're kind of terrible at your job, huh? He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Your son? Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him. But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. I'm going to tell him immediately. Because honestly, I feel kind of sorry for Cove. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that. What'd you say? You want to make a deal? Okay. So I can be a good kid, like fully good kid, and not take the money and go be friends with him anyway. I can flee the scene, or I can take the money. I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Part of me wants to take the money and then use it to buy something for the both of us, because his dad's kind of a loser. The other part of me is, let's don't take the money. Do you guys have an opinion in which way I should go? Because this game is very silly. Yeah. Yeah, if I play it again, we can do the other options around and make a new character, and it'll be great. I'll take it, and we'll spend the money for the both of us. You carefully plucked the bill from his outstretched hand, grinning at the thoughts of what you could do with that much cash. A fucking library card, yeah! We're doing a library card! You enjoyed reading a lot of different books. You could even get one you liked now. And that was just the start, you thought. The sky was the limit with that kind of amount. The man smiled at you. Yeah, it's not having fun. It's not hard when you have a library card. The most important. The most important. The man smiled at you, his eyes crinkling at the sides as he did. Great, that's great. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. You lost him. Oh my god. He laughed when he said that, but the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Okay. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that, but you were still going to help. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Your mums are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. Thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Lane. So much. Jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. And I'm going to have more luck because I'm the protagonist. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. Pokemon time. From the top of the hill you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. Yeah! You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. That's me, baby. But also the last one. I don't want to touch sand. I hate sand. It's awful. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself that you had seen a flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try to relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you weren't alone, so you glanced around. Sad little boy. There was a boy sitting on the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. The deer didn't have... sad frowns. But this new boy did. You wondered what could have upset him. His eyebrows are wavy. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another, and then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hi! With the start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. He didn't say anything, just looked at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts. Aw, poor baby. His eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Ah. Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? You touched the money in your pocket, feeling it crinkle beneath your fingertips. I met your dad. Yeah, oh. So is this your hill? Baby, nature doesn't belong to nobody. He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sits back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sit on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and then up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why'd your family move? Children are so blunt. I love children. I love children. They're so blunt. It's funny. A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. Oh, a divorce. That's hard. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard, but by the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Not this one. Could do this one, but I think, because I can't do anything except sympathize. Or rather, empathize. I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him, being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Lane! Cove, kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here. I don't want... You want to go home. I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not going to be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. And you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, and then turned away, while rubbing his not bandaged arm. can wait with you. I can wait silently with you, dude. We're not super bad. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Parentals. I wonder if those would change or if they're the same no matter what. Based off of, like, the skin tones and stuff you picked. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Lane, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. I'm not gonna... Well, no, I'm a kid. I can be blunt. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Mommy gave Cove a small smile, and then she turned back to you. Thank God you're both fine. So you're Mommy and your mom. Got it. Redhead is mom. Were you two having fun out here? He looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. Yeah, I like him. He's interesting. And that's all you need for a kid to be a friend in the first generation settings. You nodded, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks very much for finding him. I don't really know this neighborhood. Good thing Lane knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Ha 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 ha! It sounds like words. I like it sounds like words. I'm gonna pick that one because it made me laugh. It sounds like words. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after a long, exciting day, you followed them home. Can change in later steps. I think we're chill. And honestly, I think we're kind of fond. He's interesting. So we'll just do that. That's fine. 'Cause, like, it's all good. I like that I'm getting all sorts of achievements because this is the first time I've played this. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put today, just like your moms had promised. Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Lane? Yeah, I am. I'm so happy he moved in. I like the subtle voice acting some of it does. With that said, how are you? Are you done with your breakfast? Yeah. With all the exasperation an 8-year-old can muster, you looked at your empty cereal bowl and then at Mom. Yeah. Okay, attitude kid, we see. Good job, he should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then, on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Lane, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Woodrow family. Thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him, Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Yeah, it's time to pick a bracelet. I like crystals and I like beads. So I'm going with the crystal bead bracelet. Let's go play in my room.
Okay. Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids. See you later, son. Play nice. The room is blue. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of the sight of your treasures. Yeah, Crystal. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed. I do think that bed is cool. It's IKEA. And a window to look out. It was a really great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. I drew that! Cool! You smile at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the wall. You hoped he liked your room, 'cause that's always what kids are hoping for. At least I was. I want people to like my room. You had put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on a tiny box of beach things you'd collected tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach. Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? He gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand. Neat! This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Oh right, I almost forgot. Shiloh's gonna be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend, or like her #1 fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and he pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink and purple and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. I think... yeah. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. I think maybe next time I'd pick this one, but I'm gonna go with the funny stories one personally. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collections. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent had made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. I see. That was more, he's mad at his dad rather than bribing a kid to be friends with his kid. Before you knew it, you had both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Okay, but be careful.